Hi everyone, I'm Antoine, and today we're going to talk about how I compose music. There are three main parts during my composition process, so I'm going to break that down for you. So the first part is the starting point, obviously. The starting point for me can be various things. The first one is a subject I want to talk about or a funny idea I'm having for a subject. During the pandemic, I was kind of curious to see how a germaphobe and claustrophobe would live that period during the pandemic and the lockdown. And so I put myself into that person's shoes and composed hands off, starting from that idea and that character. Another example, a bit more serious, would be the song Work from my band Micmac, in which I wanted to talk about and criticize how education works in France and Spain, but how the education system works. If you are interested, I've done a full video for that song, which should appear somewhere here where there's an icon, so feel free to click on that if you want to know more about the song Work. And a funny idea can be, for example, that I've always found super funny that in classical scores you see indications for the tempo like allegro, allegretto and all this sort of stuff. And sometimes you see that plus a ma non troppo, so not too much. And I've always found super funny that you say, okay, go fast but not too much. Go slow but... It's super unprecise and, I think open for interpretation, and that's the point. But I've always found it super funny, and so I wanted to compose a song called Ma non troppo, and doing the opposite thing, so doing a full-on metal song. And knowing that I have a friend, an Italian friend called Davide, I said, okay, now it's the time. I'm gonna compose Ma non troppo for Davide, and we're going to do a featuring together, and it's going to be a blast of a song. And I'm happy with how it turned out. That simple idea can start an entire song. Another starting point would be a melody. A melody or any sort of idea can pop up during your normal day, so I always have my phone ready in case I want to record a melody or just put a quick note or something. As an example, there's a song from the album Sunrise, which would be Micmac's, so my band's next album. I'm recording it, by the way, now, so I'm kind of excited to show you some things, but it's still pretty early in the process. So the song Late from the album Sunrise was basically composed while I was cleaning the house. While doing my chores as a husband, a verse popped up and I started singing and said, okay, this is catchy, so I recorded and then kept on cleaning, and basically the entire structure, the entire singing structure of the song came up that way. And of course it took forever to clean the apartment, stopping and doing it again, but it was for the common good, and the song Late is a great song, so I can't wait to show it to you. And finally, I can have a guitar riff as a starting point, and that can also happen at any time. Two examples for that. I was once giving a lesson to a student. I was at her home, and we were chatting about stuff that she wanted to discuss, and that riff came up. It's basically the riff for Ma non troppo. I said, okay, sorry, we will keep on with the discussion and all your lesson and all that just right after, but I have to record that. And it's not the first time it happens, so she understands. We stop for 2 minutes, I record, and we keep on going. Another example of that was while driving, probably to a lesson. I was just in my car, and an idea popped up, and it was the riff for the song Keep Calm. I don't know if you have the song Keep Calm in mind, but the riff is a little bit weird to sing, and so that riff came to mind. So imagine me driving with the phone here. I know it's not good and you shouldn't do it, but it's important stuff, okay? So music needs to be written. So I'm driving with the phone here and singing da do di do di do da do di do di do da do di do di do da da pa 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 do di do di da do. That's kind of how that riff came to be. So the second part, once you have your starting point, you hopefully have a global idea of what you want to say, and also the mood of your song. Do you want it to be a ballad, a super high energy song? Well, hopefully you have your basic subject and also an idea of where you want to go. I have two ways of developing that idea and starting point into more of a song. The first one is if there's singing involved. I always try to write the lyrics, or at least get at that point a full melody or a full melody path. That way the song will be much more easy to listen to and much more coherent, because everything will be built around the melody and the lyrics, so the main message. The second way of developing is, of course, if you're not going to sing, you still have a melody, so I try to come up with the main theme on the guitar, and basically the same thing as the vocals, but with the guitar. See how the main melody plays out, and if there's a chorus and a pre-chorus. So basically see how the melody is going to be all throughout the song, and then work from that. And finally, the third part of my composition process is adding a bridge. I know it seems like, okay, you don't have to add a bridge, but you sort of have to. What I call a bridge is basically after your second chorus, just to spice things up and give it a little bit more dynamic and make your song a little bit more interesting and complex. I mean, I feel like you always need something to sort of break the general dynamic, to give it something new, in order to make a full-blown great song. I have composed songs that don't have that bridge section. Some work, especially live, if you just want to be like a punch in the teeth, and then the knock 'em dead type of thing, like that's us, and then you finish and it's like, oh, okay, well, what was that? It can be a little bit tedious to just listen to always the same idea. So yeah, it's a very energetic song, yeah, it's a very energetic song, yeah, it's a very energetic song, and so it can be then come down, and then just for the end. That can be much more efficient. By the way, and I will end with this, don't feel like you always have to reinvent the wheel when composing. I mean, I have composed 8-minute songs with riffs that go all over the place and, super proggy stuff, and you wouldn't understand. But it doesn't always work. I mean, you end up with a very complex thing that sometimes doesn't sound appealing even to you. To make interesting music, not everything has to be mind-blowing and super original. You can take a normal and basic structure and then dig into each part and make each part original. That being said, I hope that you found this video useful. Leave your thoughts in the comment section of this video. If you have questions, leave them in the comments too. It will be my pleasure to answer them there. It's always a great pleasure to chit chat with all of you. And as always, if you want to support the channel, you can like the video and of course subscribe to the channel to make this channel grow, because believe it or not, most of the people watching this video are not subscribed. So come on, if you like it, it's free. That being said, I've been Antoine, and I will see you very, very soon.